As you all know, I have over 70 videos on Baffle Bigfoot, and I could be reaching 100, all with Bigfoots. And I often capture cryptid creatures with Bigfoot. As you can see, this is a family of Bigfoot across the railroad tracks. I was at the car dealership that morning, and they had to fix something unusual. It took a couple hours, but right when I spotted them on the other side of the railroad tracks, they called me. They called me in, and I had to walk about half an hour back to the dealership. But that's a big mama Bigfoot, and then I seem to catch them in their sleeping mode, like shadow mode, like they can get into trees and just hang there like they're a shadow. And right above my head there was another one before I went in there. I was really hot on their trail. I caught these little clams or mussels. I call them shellfish in the video. And you can see the little flower. It's an X in its ear, probably some kind of a female, being it's like a flower. Anywhere from here, the structure up here is protecting a creek bed, and I see another structure. Some of them might be old, but I just want you to check out the structures if you're into hunting down and getting the interest and gaining the interest on how they interact or react. So my name is Damien C., and as many Bigfoots as I see, and you're probably wondering if they are going to be invading the public or what is going on, but I'm one of the original ones of capturing Bigfoot in public places. So I think about Bigfooting, I was just saying the other day, I gave up on the food situation, but I really believe in the fish and the shellfish. And there's a number of shellfish down here right off the railroad. Look at this shellfish. Down here. Look at them all. I'm going to show you exactly. Slide out. Slide out. Slide out. Slide out. See them? But they're also on that side. Over here. They're all down here. Something is eating up these shellfishes. There's one that's halfway up. There's a rock. Look at them on this side. So obviously this is a rock. Look at them all. So over here, all the way down. So this is their little landing, but if it would be little tiny raccoon prints everywhere. And there isn't. But just to a little stick coming out on the water's edge, and it's got this little bank. Those are the type of areas they like water. I would assume more where this dries up and where it leads to, and their points. So this is one of the cryptid guardians, and I was really like hot on their trail. Like I have evidence of them eating, but this little cryptid was very hard to see. He was in the mud. I didn't see raccoon prints, but you can see its ears. It's like got some weird ears. This is right before the Bigfoot sighting. So all this whole trail leading up to it at the very end is where I saw the family on the other side, but there was cryptids in there, and it's before a Bigfoot sighting again. They also have a little chair and a seat back here. There's another shellfish. Chair and a seat back here. Right there. Yep. You'd have to climb all the way up this. And see how it's like a little path going this way on this side. So all of this was their stuff. They had some trident stones. Now these little guys up under the log that were in front of me, they were very, very hard to capture on video. They moved very, very, very fast. It might not be easy for you to understand, but you can see this cloaking. You can see its whole eyes. It's like invisible, and they kind of like take off like right in front of me in a blink of an eye. But I was right on their trail, like hot on their trail, and just found this big path. I kept walking towards the end. stuff. But it looks something right here. This has been placed. See, that stick. It's been this thing is leaning up on. Oh, this is a rare tree too. This is like an old type of cedar. A little X on the front of that. But anyway, so this tree is falling over. The stick is placed ahead to this part right here. See their trail all the way down. See right here? And it's just got two parallels coming down. And this one's leaning over the end of it. A whole little network trail that goes all the way up. Look at this X. This is a double X, big old X, X. And you'll see stuff like that, like everywhere you go. Look at this, great. How did that get back on that side like that and placed in there with trees like growing around it in this weird configuration of the grate? And the trail just keeps going up. See, once you get onto these trails, you start to sense something. They're underneath me, I think. They're eating the clam shells in this little creek. Trash. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful forest. There's a huge clearing right up here. Okay. This is an animal walk. This is getting down. So whatever those guys are, the messengers, here's another something that's up in the air. It's kind of placed there. Here's a big old path right here. So this path on the side of the railroad tracks was huge. And there's this big fat, looking blob Bigfoot. Like, you wonder what they look like sometimes. But you saw the cryptids and everything along the way and how it was right on their path. And that's right when the dealership called me. This is about, 8 o'clock till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So as we find evidence is important, but you're probably wondering what I see. Even though I show it to you in my videos, you'd probably have to be with me, and I can actually explain it and point it out to you. Even though you might not think it's Bigfoot related, I just happen to know these things because I've been doing it for a while. So right at this point, they called me. Like, I had to jump back out on the railroad tracks, and I was just right on their track. And there's this whole family. There's probably about 4 or 5 of them right here across, and the one I looked across just before that earlier. And you can hear them in the audio. There's some great audio clips. You can see the little cryptid. Now, this little guy has these big ears, and there wasn't any raccoon prints or any animal prints on the muddy bank of the mussels. But I happen to know in history, like, see, below the railroad tracks, they dig mines. And also, some old factories, lumber factories, other things had mussels and shells back in the day. This is their shadow state, and there's an X above it, and it seems to be holding on to a tree in its shadow form. I call them the sleeping mode, and I believe that I might have caught them in their sleeping mode. You'd have to be with me, and as good as I can barely see them, so I don't really think you have to be worried. You just have to know about them. That's all.